Yes, that was
What?
established.
What?
Okay, just double checking.
It was established.
I'm so confused. But we're live, and I have notes somewhere
Yay!
around here, and
Live.
people are just like trying their best to torment my poor little ticker and my blood pressure, and see what they can do to make either of them go. But I digress. This is Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader Tides of Acheron Segmentum the Fifth, the Halosk Holdouts, and I am joined by a bunch of crazy people that love to play these sorts of games, especially Rev, who loves to play games. One day we're going to see Rev riding around on a little red tricycle saying, "Would you like to play a game?" And then there's Rev, who also wants to throw things like insert political message here, because the 3Gs are a very true and near and dear thing to him. But we're not going to go into what those 3Gs stand for, because I'm sure when I ask the next question, he will have something relevant to throw in with that. But having said all that, Rev, what's new and exciting for you as we work our way around the board?
In the NFA. Just what I said.
I didn't even... Okay. You know what? Let's move on.
I said in the NFA, if you know, you know.
Is it a Herrera thing?
If I have to explain it, it crosses into the territory that Omar doesn't like. So I'm going to leave it alone.
Ironically, is the 3Gs. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Please continue. What's new and exciting? It's been... What, did we meet last week? Or did we not meet? We did meet last week.
I think we did.
Yeah, it's all the other game crew that haven't met.
Well,
It's been a while.
Okay.
Speaking of the C word that we mentioned earlier.
Oh, careful. Just for clarity's sake, it's relevant to crabs in the zodiacal sense. That's not a word. Zodiac sense.
What if it was relevant to crabs in the other sense?
In the crustacean sort of way? Not, I mean, I guess, you know what? Let me stop. I'm talking about cancer. Just for those that didn't catch that.
Carcinization. All shall be crab.
Anyway, anywho, so I mentioned before that my dog
Yes.
does not have a great prognosis. So my mother was having a discussion with the vet about some of the things and trying to understand exactly what's going on. And the vet who has told us definitively the dog has an aggressive form of cancer is like, well, we can't really know for sure unless we send it off to a lab. And we're like, you hadn't done that in the first place?
Don't you have to do that in order to get the result that says possible cancer?
Yeah, that's what we thought.
I mean, that's what I'm not a vet.
So,
I'm not even anywhere near the medical professional field of any sort, people or things. All right, go ahead.
So we're going to go get a second opinion.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. I hope all goes well with that, and I hope that whatever the final result is one that can be, handled smoothly and painlessly as humanly possible.
Regardless of what her condition is, she's 16 years old now, so
yeah. Dogs normally don't live that long.
Not usually.
And also, at the risk of sounding a little macabre, they usually don't last much longer either.
Yep. That was kind of what I was going to drive at.
Yeah. So, well, for what it's worth and however it may be perceived, best wishes. This is where I'm going with that. Usually I look at these sorts of things, especially with people, as like, this is a time of transition from what is now to what will be, and hopefully it's smooth and easy as humanly possible.
Best wishes. What are you going to do next? Thoughts and prayers?
I mean, in a very real sense, yes, actually, but not so memey.
I appreciate it.
Darius, what's new and exciting for you?
Does it involve a C word?
You keep saying the C word like it means something more than just cancer. Maybe that's how I'm hearing it. I don't know.
I think he's enjoying the...
I think he's enjoying the triggering effect.
If by C word you mean what Australians tend to use a lot.
Yes, that's where I'm at.
And the British.
See, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Fair enough.
The British. And it's not the Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth.
Oh man, I got too many damn jokes. Please, I'm interrupting. I'm interrupt us. So please continue.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot new going on.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to Alterios, our resident tech priest player.
Nothing really new going on.
What about exciting? Anything exciting?
The Artemis launch was pretty exciting.
You know what, we were talking about that before, and I did mention you guys, but also for everybody else. Like, I am freaking stoked that we're going back to the moon, because about the time I came screaming into this world, and then within a few years of that, like, we stopped doing that. I don't know if there's a direct correlation or not. Let's hope there isn't. Also, let's hope that there isn't on the other end of that, where we're going back to the moon. That means I've only got a couple years left before I can go screaming out of it. Ooh, man.
Kicking and screaming.
I will be kicking and screaming. I'm gonna live forever, damn it.
Don't go quietly into that long night.
Good night. Long night.
Hold on, Omar. What do you mean back to the moon?
Huh?
He's inferring the conspiracy theory that we never got there, and it was all shot by Kubrick.
It was. You can clearly see the flag moving wrong. And the shadows are completely out of place. It was a government psyop to get Russia to spend more money.
All of these things are so easily disproven.
Anyway.
The flag wouldn't move except when manipulated by people. And all of the shadows point to a single uno light source.
Light source, yes.
And consistent angles consistently throughout. He's doing this because he wants my fucking blood pressure to skyrocket. Look at that. I made it to 701.
Omar.
Alterios, I totally
Omar.
interjected. Please
Omar.
continue.
Your goat is a whore, and Rev is having fun with it.
My goat is a... I should get a t-shirt made with that. I've never heard that phrase before, but somehow it seems so accurate. Alterios, help me, please, I'm floundering.
It was fun watching it. Fun watching the launch. I had fun watching it. So,
was that today?
Yeah. I remember growing up watching some of the space shuttle launches, and then
Challenger.
And then the Challenger happened, and I think that was roughly the time they stopped really, like, in a general level, televising all of the launches as much as they did. I don't remember if we watched the Challenger go up. God, that might not have been the best way to phrase it. I mean, it did go up. It just...
Yes. All of the above.
Yeah. But I do remember when the Challenger happened, they pulled a bunch of us kids into, like, the school library to let us know the Challenger didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking to myself, like on some intellectual level, I knew what that meant, but I didn't know what that means, like, otherwise.
It was a big deal for a lot of students because a teacher was on board.
That's right. I forgot about that. McAuliffe.
You want to know a piece of fun trivia about that?
Oh,
I don't know that there is such thing as fun trivia about it, but you're going to tell us anyway.
I mean, I don't have to. Omar can say no, and I'll have to shut my trap. Maybe.
I mean, I'm curious to know what you have to say. I don't know. I don't believe it's going to be terribly fun.
So NASA was trying to find a way to engage children more to it, and they were trying to do something educational or entertaining, and what they settled on was to put the school teacher on board. But what they had initially been considering was putting Big Bird on board, and a whole bunch of school kids would have tuned in to watch Big Bird launch into space and blow up.
I should not be laughing at this.
That is
I should
terrifying.
not be laughing at this. This is where you know that my sense of humor has absolutely gone into the gallows end of the spectrum. Because I can imagine the United States government and its various other agencies that would have been involved with this process going, this is a great idea. This is the best idea we've ever had. This is how we get more people into STEM, even though we didn't call it that back in the early 80s. This is how we get people into STEM. This is how we get the kids involved in science. This is how we get people motivated to become scientists and become astronauts and blah, 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 blah. Let's send it. Let's put Big Bird on the moon. They wouldn't have said that. because we stopped going to the moon by that point. But you know, the feeling was there.
Let's put Big Bird in space.
Yeah, let's put Big Bird in space. And yep, that's exactly what would have happened. Millions of
Yes.
kids going, just staring at the screen, going, "Oh my god!"
It would be interrupted by an ad for KFC.
No, no.
Okay, all right, we got to move on. Altarius, since I derailed you so much, please, if you have anything else, help us.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Warner, it lies on you now. It falls to you.
Well, first, a happy Holy Week to those who celebrate.
Ah, yes, this
And-
is that time of year again.
And secondly, my mother generously offered to watch my children so that my wife and I could go have a date lunch today,
That's awesome.
which was wonderful. We went to a new restaurant we'd never been to before, and it was nice. It was the first time that we had been out on a real date in months. I mean, you know, I don't have a job, so
No, I
can't,
mean, but I mean,
like,
not for nothing.
afford to
Like,
do dates all the time, but yeah,
I mean, just the
it was
idea.
still real nice.
Yeah, just the idea of being able to go and do something with your spouse and not one tiny bit of concern. I mean, there's always going to be that tiny bit of concern because you can't get rid of it. But having no concerns for your kids because they are definitely not going to have a problem and that can't be solved, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or that you know whatever the problem is it can wait until you get home. I do remember a few times being in those similar situations where it's like, please, for the love of God, please, someone just take the kid and let me and the wife go do something for a few hours. Something. It was always wonderful.
So
when
yeah,
we had those opportunities.
we went out to lunch and then hit up a used bookstore and you know, had some nice uninterrupted conversations. So yeah, it was a good day.
My problem would have been that I would spend far more money if I had sufficient funds. I would have spent more money in the old bookstore, especially if it had a role playing section.
There was no role-playing section, but we did pick up a copy of Stardust by Neil Gaiman, which is
Don't know that one.
we enjoyed the movie, but we never owned the book.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, you know, hey,
I'm not even aware of that as
pick
a
that up.
movie.
I thought it was a song.
No.
No.
Neil Gaiman, author of American Gods, Anansi Boys, all that stuff.
Oh, okay. The American Gods,
Co-author
that
of
didn't they make
Good
it? They made a
Omens
TV
with
show
Terry
about that or
Pratchett.
something, didn't they?
It was very good.
I want to say it was probably on HBO or something. I think it was. I could be wrong. Well,
The
sorry. Go ahead.
the casting was quite good.
Yeah, I'm picturing
Ian
one dude.
McShane was Mr. Wednesday, also known as Odin.
He might be the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. Dark hair, kind of curly.
A little bit.
Yeah, I
He
think that's him.
plays the guy who owns the Continental
Yes.
in
Yes.
John Wick.
Yep.
He was in Deadwood.
Never
If they
watched that
ever
one.
make a Stormlight Archive movie or miniseries, he's my vote for Dalinar.
Okay. I'm not. Unfortunately, there's a lot of literature that I've not been many years. A number of reasons. One being that I just can't seem to sit down to read to save my life.
Well, you know, what kind of stuff do you like?
Well,
I mean,
it's
we don't have to do this now, but
no, but
I
I do.
love to
See,
read,
the thing
so
is,
I
so
can.
like, I've been I shouldn't say hinting at it. I've dropped a couple of notes in like other discords where like Anne McCaffrey and Tracy Hickman
Okay.
and Frank Herbert and there's like one or two others, something like Stephen King, obviously. You know, these
Okay.
are people that I read a lot when I was a teenager. And into my early adulthood, I'd read a bunch of stuff. But at some point, I got to a point where I couldn't lay down. Like, A lot of times when I wanted to read, I would lay down,
Mhm.
read, but because I was physically exhausted, I'd end up falling asleep.
Ah,
And then I used to do a lot of reading on the toilet, and I realized how silly that sounds. But somehow it got to the point where like that was the only way I knew I could sit down and read a book for 15, 20. I could read a chapter and be okay. Darius is dying over there.
have you considered audiobooks?
You know, that's not a bad idea, especially considering I have watched.
I was gonna say, could you listen to that during work?
Yeah, I could actually, because I have watched many a TTRPG show while working, and you know, obviously I'm not watching it on phone, but I've definitely spent much time listening. The problem is, of course, you know, every 1 or 2 minutes I'm away from the truck for 30, 45 seconds or longer, so that it's just a bunch of constantly backing up. Like, hold up, I missed something here.
But yeah, a lot of good stuff to say about audiobooks from a lot of my friends. I don't use them all that often, but
There
there's a
is
growing
a
way that people consume them. There are excellent readers out there.
yeah. There is a part of me that wishes I could sit down and enjoy a novel like I once did. In fact,
Mhm.
earlier this year, I purchased It, and there was another book I purchased too, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. Oh, it was actually one of the Horus Heresy books.
Can I suggest you not read it?
Why?
There's a pretty disturbing chapter in there in like a
I know,
child.
I know.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've read it. I've read it long ago. I was
I
like,
don't mean just disturbing in the sense of normal
no,
horror.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know the scene you're talking about. It's when they're lost in the tunnels or sewers or whatever. After as children they defeated it, but they had to find it. As far as when exactly that scene takes place, I know the scene you're talking. Thankfully, that one didn't really show up in the movie.
Oh yeah, that would have made it an X-rated.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, it
Yeah.
would have been wrong on so many
It
levels. So
it
many
would have been
levels.
illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of wrong. It's pretty wrong in print too.
It
In my opinion.
is, but I don't want to sound like I'm defending it, so I'm not going to say anything. But I
Okay.
think narratively it makes sense from having been in that sort of frame of mind in that when I was that age. But I'm really encroaching really close to some lines I don't feel like dancing around.
Yeah.
So, that said, let's play our game. And
Sounds like a plan.
that is. There we go. That's the one. Previously on Tithes of Acheron, we have arrived on Halosk 3 and met with the local governor and members of the governing body, as well as Mercantile Guard Commander Colonel Vreen. Despite some hemming and hawing from the board, measures are in place, to begin planning the final assault on the Kroot holdouts hiding in the southeastern part of the city. Now, oh, that's weird that I kept that paragraph in my. Should have taken that paragraph out. Oh well. So I do have a map for you guys to peruse the plan. So let me go ahead and pull that up now.
Seems rather bland.
Yes. There's your map.
Do.
Now, pull up my notes. Make sure I'm not. As mentioned previously, Mercantile Executor-in-Chief Roger Schreck, your planetary governor, sole person responsible for everything that happens or fails to happen. Already well aware of the Kroot situation. I'm kind of regurgitating some old information, but he has more than a few hundred Mercantile guards setting up a kilometer-wide cordon around the southeastern warehouse sector wherein the Kroot are currently contained. Plans are underway even now to launch the final assault, but there have been concerns over damages to the wares stored in nearby facilities, not to mention the collateral damage to the facilities themselves, etc. Just like generally, like people are scared of losing money or losing
Hemming and hawing.
Yeah,
as
mentioned in the previously on.
Yeah.
You've actually met with all of these people that had these concerns, and across the board, most of them were in support of you doing something, or you supporting the chief executive, governor, whatever the hell I called him, Shrek. There were a few holdouts amongst the body that were not too keen on all of this, and you have basically have it established that they will coordinate with your high factotum to meet with you in person following the, let's call it, summary execution of the Kroot problem. Shrek and Vreen are pretty solid on, like, let's get this done, but let's do it right. And they have gotten to a point where they're kind of deferring to your judgment on how to handle this. They are more than willing to, let the Mercantile Guard continue in their current role as the outer cordon, keeping people away, keeping the Kroot contained, etc. And then you going in and doing the assault yourself, or, in any other way, supporting you as best they can. The intelligence you have is that there are roughly 30 or so Kroot holed up somewhere in these 4 buildings. And I have some notes about these 4 buildings. These would be the big flat square shits that you see on the map. Obviously, this is something of a top-down map. Let's see. Indirect fire, or God Emperor forbid, orbital strikes are clearly out of the question, just because of the margin of error.
Why?
Because while this map does not represent, there are warehouses all around the perimeter, and they're all full of stuff, and not to mention needless loss of life. That even for 40K, it would start getting questionable. Like, are you sure that's what you want to do? I mean, don't get me wrong. I realize that Exterminatus is a thing, okay? A demon sneezes on one of your planets, and they fucking nuke everything. I get it. But at some point, there has to be a certain amount of, like, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Why?
Okay, alright, Rav.
Life.
What?
Life. It's either precious or cheap, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. There are several squads available from Vreen that can push either the north, east, or southern flanks in support of your approach, assuming your approach comes from the west. And to be clear,
given that there's 30, is having 2 squads with us unfair? Or would you just want us to have one of our elite squads?
Hang on one second.
I'm asking you for terms of balance.
Give me 1 second. I'm unfucking something.
By the way, if any of my scream or shout just came over a minute ago, that was not frustration at you.
Oh, I assumed it was, but I ignored it nonetheless. Okay, I'm sorry, what was your question one last time? Oh,
my question was, for the purposes of balance, if we take one of our elite squads with us, or 2, what sort of accompaniment are you willing to give us without it unbalancing the encounter?
I think 1 or 2 of your squads is more than enough.
Okay.
I also, not for nothing, I also anticipated you bringing all 4. I'm not saying that's the answer to the equation, but, like, I assumed you would probably bring all 4 and then just absolutely wreck everything. If you choose not to do that and, potentially throw off my plans, that's even better.
Okay, well, you said there's only 30 of them.
Yeah, 30-ish.
So that seems like 2 squads with us as a personal guard seems like more than enough.
Yeah, probably.
Does anybody remember? I know we have most of the squads just about equal on stats, but there was, I think, squad Crete had 5 more points in range than the others.
That sounds about right.
Did any of the other squads have a statistics edge?
There you go. There's your dudes right there by squad.
I'm asking you, Omar. You're looking at our squad cards, I'm assuming.
No, I wasn't, but I just dropped them on the table.
Yeah, you just.
And I will let you guys figure out which ones, because Alpha Squad, B Squad, et cetera. They all have.
I'm dealing with something at the moment.
I realize you are, but you have minions that can do this.
So we got 45 ballistic on Delta.
A couple of them should have 50 ballistic, I think.
On, yeah.
Crete should have 50.
Yeah. Crete does have 50.
Oh, Crete also has motion trackers now. Have you updated their...
Bravo has 50. Bactria. And Athens has 50.
Okay. Do any
Don't
of
they
them have
all have
any
motion
other?
predictors?
Yes, all squads should have motion predictors. I was asking if you had updated
I have.
their cards.
Yes, they're on there.
Okay.
I left the tracers on. I know there's some toxic rounds somewhere scattering around, but
Yes.
I figure with the toxic rounds we can just be like, oh yeah, that's right, they do an extra 9,000 points of damage because you sneezed 6 days ago. Whatever the ruling is.
Athens, Bactria, and Crete are all about par.
Okay.
I don't see a particular edge.
Well, I've been training Crete more specifically, so why don't just since the Lord Commander is entitled favorites, why don't we bring Crete and one other squad of your guys' choosing? Because remember, their training hasn't gotten locked in yet.
Mm-hmm.
So Crete is coming, is what I'm hearing. Switch this over to see what I'm talking.
Warner, pick another squad.
Athens it is.
Okay.
And Athens. And then we pull down your tenant as well. Who may or may not have gotten recent updates, but assume he's at the very least got the same equipment as everybody else. Other than what he may or may not have specifically because he is the lieutenant. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Huh?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Lucian had fallen asleep, so
Oh, he's been struggling for a hot minute.
I haven't slept yet
Like,
from yesterday.
Oh,
why?
Yikes.
Why?
Insomnia.
Oh, okay.
That's an answer.
that'll do it.
Definitely dealt with that motherfucker. That motherfucker can get on a goddamn Artemis rocket and never come back.
Yeah.
All right. So as Vrain was stating, and I imagine this scenario is like, this is like a hollow projected screen in some conference room or something. You've got the airfield on the west side of the map. So, that's what I was getting ready to do. I got sidetracked with so much else. So, that's even, Jesus Christ. I think I would know how to. That's north. Eat soggy watermelon. So if you were to, so one thing that Colonel Vrain does mention is that if you were to approach from the airfield, this retaining wall, which is 3 meters tall, does have these gaps that you can squirt a squad or two through with some cover and a relatively short distance upon which to cross before you got to, adjacent to a building. If you came from this area, from the airfield to the west, he's got squads that can, basically do like feinting maneuvers to the north, east, and south to try to maybe distract or confuse or what have you. Otherwise, his squads will remain in position as part of a cordon while you guys continue your assault as you determine whatever it is you want.
I see no reason. What are their stats? No, I'm kidding.
Their stats won't be involved in the. They're
I know
going to
that.
be
Well, that
completely
was a joke.
off the board.
You said I had the choice to either have them on the cordon or in the fight, and I was like, well, what are their stats?
Well, no, any of their actions, whether they're on the cordon or they're making feinting maneuvers, is completely off the map. It won't have any impact. It won't have a direct visible impact on what.
Okay.
Probably affects the starting positions of the recruit.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, I need to give you your combat
One more.
servitor.
Did you clean or do you have a new headset?
No, why?
Because I can see your screen reflecting off of your headset, but not when you look at it.
Oh,
This-
it's
they've
always had
always
that
been
little
that.
reflective bit there.
Now, if you turn and look back further to what's going to be your left, I can clearly see the screen. Not that
Oh,
far left.
I mean, you're not seeing anything that you couldn't otherwise see, though.
Oh yeah.
Would at least.
Rev is impressed by shininess.
Well, it's shiny things, really. Yeah.
It's more the detail I can see on the shiny things. Normally it blue screens out your a lot
Oh,
of your
well, I
headsets.
mean, it's probably just like super focused this one time. At any rate, I'm getting ready to say. Oh, you need
How tall were these again?
3 meters or roughly 10 feet.
Okay.
So like theoretically, you can come into the airfield and up right all the way up to about here before you'd actually be seen. These buildings have let me pull up my note. I thought I gave myself some notes about the buildings themselves. Let's see. Using the maps. Let's see. Using the maps provided, let players plan an approach. Colonel Vreen recommends approaching from the adjacent airfield as the retaining wall provides some cover before making assault. Unfortunately, of these 4 buildings, it is unknown how many crew are in which buildings. Evidence suggests that in the last 2 or 3 weeks since they arrived and were cordoned off from the rest of the city, there may have been some tunneling going on between the buildings. Not to mention wherever else those tunnels may or may not lead. All of the buildings have a smattering of trash accumulated on the top of them. Green suspects there are impromptu sniper hides, as the windows and doors have all been barred or blocked to prevent easy access. This also supports his tunneling theory, as far as they've never seen fruit moving around on the ground, out going from one building to the next. Indirect fire is out. Several squads that can either push the north, east, or southern flanks in support of your assault, or just hold off in the cordon. Use of smoke grenades would be helpful in masking your approach, Colonel Vreen also suggests, but that is entirely your make.
Didn't
I
think
don't
we
think
had
we
those.
have any smoke grenades.
I mean, I
We
thought
do
at one
not.
point that maybe you did roll for them, but I could be wrong.
We were
No.
thinking about rolling for frags, I think.
Okay.
Maybe cracks, but we never did roll on them.
Okay. So
We got the incendiary grenades.
Did we? The infernal grenades?
Pretty sure.
yeah, that sounds right. I do remember
Okay.
getting. Well, I think you got them for your troops,
Lighting
though.
things on fire.
Yeah, you got them for the troops, though. I believe. I could be wrong with that as well.
I'm not sure if we should light the buildings on fire.
No,
That would
there's
be
definitely
fun.
a governing body that's going to have some concern about that. They recognize that this is your property and you can do whatever you want with it in theory, but that also is going to, impact their pocketbook, and they will let you know that.
Mm.
In
I
fact,
don't
somebody
see-
mentions that offhandedly. Is that these are your buildings, Lord Captain? However, somebody's going to be a little bit upset about the money they're going to have to spend to repair it.
Yes. Are we still behind the wall then in the spaceport?
If
You
that's
want
where you
to?
want to arrive from, unless you come up with a different plan. I want you to
That's the-
imagine coming from any other direction involves you coming. Imagine these buildings are all in a grid sort of layout, so theoretically approaching is relatively easy until you get to a certain point, at which point you're just going to be exposed. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yes.
I will give as a final thought. Once I find that note. Did I not put that in the other? Sorry, I've got different notes scattered again. There is mention of the gun cutters that you see on the airfield nearby. There are 2 visible on the map, and we can argue that however many specific gun cutters we determine at some point are also available in general. But what is known is this: these gun cutters have been here since the, for lack of a better word to call it, siege has begun. To the point where they were, basically they were part of another ship's transport capabilities. Ferrying people and equipment back and forth between the ships in orbit and the ground. Unfortunately, when the troops showed up, the gun cutters couldn't leave the ground without the threat of being fired on from the crew, so they stayed on the ground, and eventually the mothership had to leave in order to meet their contractual obligations. So the gun cutters have been left behind.
Yes. Does anyone have any preparations they wish to make for coming up?
Are either of the gun cutters functional?
They are not active at the moment. The crew have evacuated because of the proximity to the situation. The gun cutters themselves are in a cold state.
Those don't look like gun cutters, Omar.
I realize that. Just humor me, damn it. Listen, Incarnate did not have the pieces I needed. Those 2 ships right there are 2 different pieces, in case you couldn't tell from looking at them.
It's a space bus. Deal with it.
It's pretty much it. It's space Winnebago.
Quick, go and inspect the escape pods. For some reason, there's 2 lifeboats on the landing platform. That must be what the crew arrived in.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is, I get it. They don't look like gun cutters. I'm sorry.
I know.
Use your damn imagination.
I specifically used that tone of voice so that you would know I was not actually serious about the nitpick.
That said, however you want to approach, I will point out again, just for clarity, all of the buildings' windows and doors are barred or boarded up, or otherwise, getting into the buildings is going to present something of a challenge for you. There are trash bits scattered across the roofs, and it is possible that they have snipers in them, hidden in amongst the trash. That is.
Sniper trash, sniper trash.
Sniper trash does whatever sniper trash does.
Indeed.
I was actually reading a training paper about how for modern day ghillie suits, making them out of plastic trash so that you appear to be a pile of trash would blend into any environment, whether it's urban or wooded or whatever, because at this point people are so ubiquitous with littering that trash is omnipresent.
Yeah. And the best ghillie suit incorporates the environment in which it will be hidden. Whatever. All right.
Anyway,
Let me start with this building.
Since we have 2 squads, Warner and Lucian, do you each want to take a squad?
Sure.
That can be done.
Is Winter on the board in the fight? Is she elsewhere?
I don't see. I mean, obviously, she would likely be with us.
I imagine you're gonna leave Anastasia and Yunko Bar ship.
Well, Yunko, if I'm not mistaken, is still confined to quarters.
Oops, no, Winter stays up there.
Confined.
Are you giving the NPCs the same amount of XP as we get, or
yeah?
But okay, so does that include combat XP if they're still on the ship?
For Yunko Bar and Anastasia, they've been getting the same XP that you guys have. In fact, they're both sitting within a couple hundred points of 14,000 right now.
Okay.
For a second, I thought you were talking about giving the Kroot the exact same XP we had, and I'm like, that's
No,
I actually thought the same thing. I was like, where's he going with this?
Well, because I was just wondering if we're having a disadvantage by not just like bringing them along and even parking them in the back so they get combat XP.
No, because if you remember, like XP is usually awarded based on the session and if you accomplish objectives or not.
Yeah, but if they're on the ship, they're not accomplishing objectives.
But the team is.
You could make the argument.
What was Marcellus Thale out on the building for a reason?
Yes, I was going to ask if that piece was for Thale.
What was for sale? The Marcellus Thale piece?
Thale.
Marcellus
Thale.
He's talking with a list.
It was a bad pun.
I get it.
Sylvester the cat.
Yes.
Suffering Succotash.
And that's my Yunko bar stand-in / Marcellus Thale, really. Anyway, let's do initiative.
You actually named him that. You actually named him that, you cheeky son
of a gun. I did. Let's do some initiatives so we can figure out turn order and stuff. So let's see. That is 1d10 plus your agility bonus. Unless you have obviously fate points and things of that nature give you different options.
That's what I do.
So I'm going to be rolling 1d10 plus something.
Standard practice.
The Arius is on my dice pad again for some.
I forget what the plus is that we're supposed to use.
It's plus your agility bonus.
That's what okay.
And I think your paranoia gives you something as well.
Yeah, another +2.
That sounds right.
Well, regardless of my roll order.
And burning a fate point is an automatic 10, right?
Yeah, it gives you 10
burning,
and then
spending, but yes.
Well,
yeah, you give it gives you a 10 and then so you just add your agility bonus to that.
My agility bonus is 6, I believe.
Very nice.
Yes. So that's an 11 for me.
Here, updating my guys really quick.
Yep, go for it.
Jace has, what did you say?
11.
Okay. Icarus, put yours on as a 13, it looks like.
I'm going to spend a fate point.
Okay, also roll for your combat servitor and use its agility bonus.
Please, Warner and Lucian, don't forget to roll for your squads.
Okay.
Brogdale, do you have your initiative yet?
I do. It should be 7.
7. Okay. Reinhardt, do you have your agility, or excuse me, your initiative?
I am spending a fate point to get 17.
All right. We have one for Winter.
Yeah.
You got it. Go ahead there, Icarus.
These rolls suck today.
All right, Winter's initiative is...
Oh, I'll roll for it.
I don't know what her agility bonus is off the top of my head either.
I do. Well, I have the sheet in front of me.
Yeah, you have the sheet. I mean, I have a sheet, but it's probably not nearly as up.
Her agility bonus is only 3.
That's a 9 for her initiative, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me see. Jace, Rugdio, Burn, Reinhardt, Winter, Servitor, the Kroot. Okay.
Well, I'm going to preempt combat a little bit here and tell everybody to hold.
Hold it.
Number 3 has the same role as me. How do you do ties?
There's a way, but I'm just gonna make them go second. They're
Okay.
bad guys.
I was like, player character goes first.
I think you had you did 12. Oh, I think they have a flip.
Evidently.
Not bad.
It works. I think we got it. Good enough. All right. So Reinhardt goes first, but the Lord Captain just said something. I will also allow you to deploy as you wish, leading all the way up to the retaining wall.
How do you want to do our squads as far as initiative?
Oh, I didn't put those on there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's my bad. I should have. What squads do you have again? Squad
Athens
And Crete.
Okay. And then did somebody roll their initiative already? I don't remember.
I rolled for Athens.
All right, what's Athens?
7.
7.
So right after me.
Yeah, because I usually do NPCs after. And squad.
Let's have the squad go together. And I'll take the servitor last.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 1.
Oh.
So that'd make it a 5.
Why are you putting it above the combat servitor?
Because
it rolled a 5 too.
Because Altria said to let the servitor go last.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, there's a rule in the book that says how to just resolve ties, but listen, if we could quickly and easily come up with an answer, then let's go with that.
Mm-hmm.
The other one gets a little confusing. That said, you guys can deploy anywhere in that area. If you're choosing to approach from the airfield, you have all the way up to the retaining wall to situate yourself.
Where are the doors on these buildings? If we can.
You know what? That's actually a fair question. Let me give you some sort of thing to mark the door. Give me a second here.
There's a door in the middle of the building.
Correct. It's blue. It's the secret door.
These are windows.
Nice.
And the reason why I'm pointing this out is that I realize nobody here has military training, have you? But doors and windows are not the only way.
But
there's also the walls.
Yes, there
There's
are
the
walls.
improvised
now,
entrance.
I get it. Obviously, if you guys don't have the equipment to make a hole, that's a thing. But
look, I have a melt-a-gun.
That is a way to get into a door, or excuse me, into a building.
Yeah.
Several of us have plasma weaponry.
Yeah, so you do have options. I just wanted to point out that, I did specify doors are blocked, windows are barred, or, whichever, boarded up or what have you. So.
I was gonna say, might be worthwhile to bust open a door or window and just pitch in inferno grenades at the fire take care of them.
I mean, again,
it is a warehouse. That is not a good idea.
How you approach this is entirely up to you guys. Whatever happens because of that, it will also be up to you guys.
How you approach this is entirely up to you, he says, but you can't use your orbital guns.
Well, if we use our orbital guns, we don't get, the gun cutters because everything just gets evaporated.
We don't need the gun cutters.
You don't. Lucian? Listen, you know what? You're right, Rev. You don't need the gun cutters. You also don't need, I don't know, a few square kilometers of any sort of terrain whatsoever. So you could do an orbital strike that may also fucking miss.
Our gunners are better than that.
I don't even know if the rules exist for conducting an orbital strike, but I can tell you right now, there is going to be a margin of error. Absolutely, there will be.
I send Warner back up to the ship to aim the guns.
That there's a lot of travel time and various other factors involved that may cause even Reinhardt's wondrous marksmanship to be faulty.
Anyway, please put your squads where you would like them behind the wall, and yourselves. I'm seeing a lot of not characters and squads not being moved.
Yes,
Yeah, let's. And
that is
I'm
fair.
not trying to be impatient or frustrated with anybody. I just let's move them.
I, as you say, prepositions.
also,
Oh,
I
that's-
will point out
That's where you
the
want your
sniper
character?
threat
Yeah.
has been not identified. Hang on, I can't think of the right word. There is a sniper threat, so
We've
keep that
been
in mind.
warned that there will be snipers.
yes. Also, anybody that has experience with Kroot knows that they have single shot weapons with fairly decent, from a decent firing weapon. So I think it would be
Someone
safe.
move the lieutenant. Thank you.
But he's got legs.
I mean, that's better than Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
For some reason, whenever I hear the rank of lieutenant, I'm remembered of a scene in Fallout New Vegas where you're trying to identify. There's a witness that saw something happen, and he's like, "I heard them call each other by their names. One of them's name was Lou." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, but he called him something else. He said his last name too, and that was kind of weird. What was his last name? Tennant.
Nice.
His name was Lou Tennant." And I thought that was funny.
Let me guess, his rank was captain?
Well, I don't know, but you're
Captain
dealing with
Tennant Lou.
you're dealing with a dumb local who's never heard of military ranks, and he thinks the guy's name was just Lou for
No, I
lieutenant.
know. I got the joke.
Okay, can we not put them in the doorway?
That's probably not a
hate
good
to
parking
nitpick.
spot for them.
Neither squad I would like lined up on the doorway.
Okay.
Okay. Then
We
where
can
would you
do-
like them?
That's perfectly fine. Like just
Just
undercover.
off to
You
the
can
side of the doorway.
you can split them up between each side of the gate if you're so inclined, or you can leave
There
them
we
all
go.
together. I know I said you can pick, but I have a thing I'm doing, so let's not stick them out in the open.
A thing he's doing.
Through the mind link, I ask Icarus, do your servo skulls transmit Vox signals?
Is it binary?
No, I mean, if you were to say something, can they essentially act as a loudspeaker, or do they have that capability? That might be as much a question for the GM as
It would, as I understand it, servo skulls do whatever they're equipped with.
Like-
did you give them?
They have speakers on them, but like I don't.
Yeah, I'm
like,
looking.
I'm more wondering, like, could they be considered something akin to a loudspeaker if
I would guess
volume
no.
raised sufficiently?
Let me see what the baseline servitor.
Well, I've just seen plenty of.
Oh, it has
servo
an
skulls.
inbuilt. It has an inbuilt. Oh Jesus! Inbuilt Vox and cogitator. So I suppose it is possible that
I'm
you
not-
could jury rig
I'm not-
something at least.
I'm not sure if it's a high power if it's a powered Voxcaster though.
Oh
there's a
no,
difference
you're
between a
right. You're
Voxcaster
right.
and
It would just be.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
what I was wondering.
Yeah. So
I've seen lots of them.
unless you gave them a Voxcaster, then they just have a Vox.
Okay.
It speaks with an indoor voice.
Yes. What a way to phrase it.
But by the way, Omar, I'm
Yeah.
surprised you were at one. I'm just speaking of servitors. You were at one point going to bring along the other servitor for entertainment value.
Do what?
The one that I gave Alturios, you were going to have it tag along at one point. Not on this particular adventure, but just in general. And you've left it in the closet and forgotten about it.
I don't remember this at all. I have no location. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. I just don't remember it.
Have you forgotten about the Wikipedia servo skull already?
Oh, that guy. Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, I have forgotten about that. But also, it's entirely up to Icarus whether or not he brings it along with him. Have it spout entirely useful, but maybe not necessarily useful now.
Well, as the GM, you certainly could have it have a mind of its own.
This is true. I have encountered servo skulls that actually were once upon a time a pirate. Anyway.
Yar.
It's strictly up to you.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that Alturios left my gift at home and it doesn't.
I forgot about him. I forgot what a wonderful gift that is too. That's definitely
valuable.
a novelty item. And quasi useful.
I'm also extremely disappointed that you didn't repair it in a way that it was skidding around on little spider legs instead of hovering like normal.
Me?
Hovering
No.
is a much more efficient mode of travel.
It certainly is. Reinhardt, unless somebody else is telling you to do something different, it is your turn, sir.
I am telling everyone to hold.
Okay.
Essentially until it's my turn.
Okay.
And they can either hold or you can just have me make my action before combat actually starts.
Go ahead. You may begin.
From inside of my armor, from the waistcoat, I remove a white lace handkerchief, and I hold it gently between my thumb and my index finger.
Mm-hmm.
I raise my hand in the air and wave it through the door opening, and then begin to walk out.
And thus began most interactions between Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd. But please continue.
I say in my loudest now. Tell me that there is some sort of loudspeaker that I can borrow from the.
I mean, if you intended to use a Vox caster at some point, yes, or a loud hailer, absolutely.
Yes. So I've borrowed.
I can't imagine a rogue trader not being able to secure some sort of megaphone on his way down from his own ship.
I've borrowed the megaphone from the local police officer on the cordon.
Sure.
What's that?
Arbites.
It would be Arbites, but yes, continue.
Well, I was more making a reference to like all the different movies where like somebody important arrives on scene and snatches the megaphone away from a police officer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Hondo. Sorry. Please continue.
And I say through this megaphone or Voxcaster, I say, if you wish to live, I wish to speak to whomever speaks for you. You have my word, as the owner of this planet, they will not be harmed.
It takes a moment, but you hear one of the windows having a single board being kicked out, and you hear from inside the building through that new opening what you want in whatever voice a crew would sound like. I have no idea what they sound like, but they are capable of speaking Low Gothic.
Do you wish to leave this place alive and continue consuming, or do you wish to, at the very least, lose many of your fellow crew today?
We fight, we die, we live, we fly. It makes no difference.
It would absolutely make a difference to a crew, especially a mercenary.
You're not using certain words, so I'm giving you certain responses.
If you wish to live, I wish to talk.
Speak.
Your ship that you arrived on has been destroyed. The master who hired you has been driven from the sector of space. His other ships destroyed. If you had any plans of a means of leaving this planet, it is likely unavailable to you. If you wish for a new master, that can be arranged. And I won't leave you behind to die like your master did with the other crew.
What you offer.
What do you want? Food? Gold?
Yes.
Food and gold can be arranged, but terms should not be discussed through a window.
It takes a minute. But eventually this dude comes out and he kind of pokes his head around. And he's probably facing the wrong. I can't tell from this angle. See.
I radio back to, what are we calling him? The planetary governor again?
Correct.
I forget the title.
I forget the title as well because it's so loud.
I just remember his
Mercantile
name,
governor
Shrek.
and executive or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it
know.
was executor or something or other.
Executor-in-Chief,
Yeah, there you go.
because I was going to call him XIC.
So,
But yeah,
I
he
am
pops
radioing-
out and he reveals just enough of his body for you to recognize that he's the one in charge.
I am radioing the executor to bring me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting, but one detail I do need to note: he is wearing Enforcer Carapace armor.
Okay.
Check.
It's not his. It very clearly matches the Mercantile Guard armor that you've seen around here.
Yes. I am radioing the executor to at all speed have whatever the closest source of fresh meat be immediately brought to this cordon, this location.
It's done. I mean, it takes like 45 minutes. How much meat did you ask for?
A slab, basically the equivalent of a slab of beef.
Okay. So enough for a fruit sandwich. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, when I say
I don't know
slab
how
of
much
beef,
they
I
can
mean,
eat. I was being funny, but
have you ever seen the large chunks of brisket that you can get to smoke?
I mean,
At a
I've
grocery
seen like
store?
ribs that are like slabs of meat with bone in them.
Okay,
So,
no, it's so this would be enough to at least feed several crew.
yeah.
This
Okay.
this would probably be enough that the squad could sit down and have a beef sandwich.
Yeah. Okay.
But nothing fancy, just and it can even be raw.
I don't know what the crude dietary preferences are, but let's go with
Crude like meat.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where they get some of their intelligence. If I'm not mistaken, is they consume it from their dead, or maybe they just eat the dead. It can be.
So camp table, 2 chairs, meat.
Sure.
Outside the gate. I motion the crude over. I sit down and I say, "What did Lord Hanet promise you for your service here?"
Had retainer fee, and he gives. I don't know what number would be appropriate, but it's a substantial amount of money, and obviously whatever they could kill, they can eat, as well as sufficient rations per day. It's from what you would probably understand, it's probably not the most lucrative deal, but certainly a worthwhile deal, an enticing deal. And certainly not one that you can't surpass if you choose to.
Well, I am going to tell them, your master cannot pay this anymore. He has been defeated. His ships are destroyed. He is not here to pay you. And I list the names of the ships destroyed and include the ship that brought them there.
You destroyed Marathos.
Is that the flagship?
Well, that was the ship that was the Clipper that brought the crew here.
I was like, okay, so I get some names confused because I don't think you
worries.
actually gave us the name. You said you'd need to think on it.
The Marathos I mentioned at least once or twice, but probably only once or twice.
Okay, I thought you said you needed to think on it.
The
Anyway.
Hanet flagship is the Dark Hand's Grasp.
Okay,
I don't think I've mentioned that before.
you have
But I
not.
may have.
Definitely doesn't ring any bells yet.
Yeah. And then the Sulanov's turn was the ship you met in the outer edges of the system that was renamed to that because the now captain, is Irene Sulanov.
Okay.
And it's a kind of a play on words because it's now her turn to be captain, so now it's Solanov's turn.
But
Yeah. Well, I say yes, that ship has now agreed to work for me. Much as I hope you will.
Where send us? Who fight?
What if you didn't fight immediately but were fed and paid?
Questions remain. Who fight? Who fight next?
Who fight next? How did you feel about the other Kroot?
My warband decimated here. You may be surprised to use the word decimated. What remains is willing to fight anyone, even
No, and
if needed, other Kroot.
I say yes. I mean, the other Kroot. Would he know the name of the other planet? I named the other planet.
Oh, the Kroot that you found on Teslock?
Yes.
Yeah, they were all part of the original same group.
Mm-hmm.
So, in his mind, and he's explaining this in his own way, but in his mind, that was all the same warband.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that over the last year, that this warband has suddenly become significantly smaller than it was.
Yes. Well, I'm going to tell him, because remains are also, even though they don't eat them, they're significant to the Kroot.
Mm-hmm.
They typically don't eat each other, as I recall.
I imagine at the very least not their own, but if they killed other Kroots in battle, they those. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I'd have to double check it. I will say, your former master, Hanet, he left the others of your warband behind to die. They did not get paid, and they will not get paid.
Cannot pay the dead.
He has the same fate for you, but I do not. If you wish to live and eat, earn, and maybe fight, side with me. How much you earn, how much you eat, we can decide later. But the first thing I pay you is that you live.
He takes a moment to think this over, and then he scoops the beef, whatever it is, into one arm and says, 1 hour, I return. Or I shoot.
I sit down at the table, I order another table full of beef to be brought, and I basically sit there on the table of meat with my feet up.
Okay, he takes the box that you've already given him and dallies back off. Probably about.
This is
Sorry, go ahead.
this is less of a box and more of a big side of beef. Like if
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
ever seen like
I assume they brought the meat in some sort of container. So whatever that container was, even if it's just a plate, he scoops it all off. He goes back, and probably about 20 minutes in, you hear a couple of gunshots, and then there's nothing. And the gunshots are muffled, so they obviously, fired off indoors as opposed to out. And then 45 minutes total later, comes back out, and he brings the rest of his people. And just for the visual effect, some of these people do come down from the roof. 2 from the middle roof, right in this building, and then 1 from over here. But they come down and they join him. And
how many of them are wearing guardsman's livery?
Just him. The rest are wearing regular Kroot leathers.
Um, can we make any acquisition rolls while we're here on planet for this session?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we as a group, and this is the rest of the group can either agree with me or disagree with me, but what I'd like to do is basically how we rolled as a group to get something. Can we roll for a quantity of guardsman uniforms, even if it is if it isn't carapace, if it's just Imperial Guard flak armor? Can we roll for? I'll start with me since it's my idea. But if I fail, can we roll for basically giving the rest of these guys Imperial Guard armor as their first payment?
I think your Kroot war boss here would appreciate better armor than. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I don't know the full lore as far as the Kroot and that, but this particular group is not above scavenging from the dead in order to make their equipment better. Which is why the Kroot war boss has the Enforcer Carapace, whatever the fuck it is. The other guys just haven't had a chance because he's the boss and he steals whatever he can get his hands on, and whatever they get goes to him first.
Well, if there's
Beyond
enough
that, they're all wearing or carrying normal Kroot gear, including their fetish pouches.
Okay. Well, if there is enough, okay, how
It
about
shouldn't
this?
it shouldn't be any problem to find a set.
Now, are you saying he wants better armor than flak for his troops? Is that what you're trying to say, or he simply
No.
wants
Better
than what
armor
they have?
than better equipment than what they have. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of Kroot bows amongst the squads. Like, there's I think 2 or 3 each squad, so there's probably like 6 or so. He's not giving up the Kroot bows to anybody, right? Because at least amongst this warband, at the very least, those that have the Kroot bow earn the Kroot bow.
Yes.
The snipers have hunting rifles that are slightly better than the standard Kroot hunting rifle. They're not giving up though. The hunting rifle, the regular Merc Kroot,
as opposed to the acquisition roll. Here, I'm not asking for them to give up anything.
Right.
I'm
no, you can make an acquisition roll to equip them if that's what you're asking. Yes.
Yes. No, my first. Well, what I'm thinking instead, and I'm asking this as an alternative. How many of the Planetary Guard have died? At least that are here. Like, how many? Like, are there bodies in the buildings, or are there not that many dead?
I mean, you haven't gone into the buildings yet, but I think we could arguably say there's probably a handful of civilians and or guard, security, arbitres, if you will. There's a handful of each scattered throughout the buildings.
Okay, arbitres would have at least carapace, I
probably
think.
But there's not very many of those. There's probably for every 5 civilians, there's probably a couple either security or guard.
Yeah. Well, so just to clarify, there are regular law enforcement. There are constables and things like that. There's Planetary Guard and there's Adeptus Arbites, and those are a whole different.
Yeah, to be clear, these are not your Adeptus Arbites. Like, these are whatever the arbiters would be.
Yeah,
what we would consider to be your basic street cops or even security guard.
Okay, fine. Well, essentially,
Planetary.
Yes, then let's go back to the acquisition roll.
Sure.
Of Imperial Guard armor. And I can go ahead and make that now if you want. Basically, just to
have I'm looking for the tables. So give me just a second here. Acquisition rolls are on 270.
Oh, it looks like it closed my acquisition sheet.
Looks like we're not having enough combat because you found the one way that they would actually not fight you, which should have been easy to find. That said, what is the availability you're looking for? It'll be a minor +10 for quantity because this is a platoon's worth of troops. And then common craftsmanship will be 0.
Yep.
So whatever the rarity is for the armor.
Like, getting them either best or good crafted guard flak isn't a big deal, and it makes it just as protective as Enforcer like carapace.
If you go with best, it's -30. If you go with good, it's -10. So the choice is yours.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm just trying to get to the thing I have
gear
for
chapter?
all the. No.
Oh, your list?
No, not my list, but I remember I put that thing together that's all of the acquisition stuff all in one page.
Hmm.
All right, so guard armor is common, right?
Scarce.
Oh,
Scarce is 0 though. So right now, scarce, common, and +10 is. I mean, sorry. For a platoon at common craft, it's just a +10 total. So like 73, I think, is your target. Excuse me.
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, 73. But this is just
All right.
common craft gear.
All right, since I didn't need any to, I was surprised you didn't make me roll for any kind of, I mean, I would have passed because all my stats in that regard are high, but
Why
persuasion
didn't?
or,
No, honestly, I had it in my rules or in my notes that if you made any sort of basically that if you interacted with them in any way other than shooting at them, the only way for them to not shoot back would be to offer them employment as mercenaries. Anything else, they would have shot you. They would have died here.
Mhm.
Which is why he was basically like, we live, we die, we shoot, we fly, or whatever the fuck I said at the beginning.
All right.
You found the non-violent answer to the situation.
Well, I want, see, Darius may have been slightly mad at me about potentially risking, like, costing you more sets of the gun cutters
Mm-hmm.
by setting up it as separate parts, but I already had a plan to not have any of the parts damaged, so.
Yay!
Put this in my notes. Recruit have been employed as part of your, I guess, standing military,
Yes.
and they now have. Hold on. Recruit captain. They now have what armor did they get? Did you roll for? I don't remember. So.
Just Imperial Guard. Common. Like I didn't do anything fancy.
Whatever
It's just
it's called.
basic Imperial Guard flak armor stamped out by the bajillions.
Yep, stamped out by the bajillions. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. What other acquisition rolls would you like to make?
Well, that's mine for the evening, gentlemen. So, but does the crew, and remember this? I'm essentially doing this as payment for his first, so that.
Yeah, they now work for you. Like at the end of all of the negotiations and that stuff, like with you giving them food and giving them new armor for everybody other than the guy who's going to take the Enforcer Carapace, regardless, they now belong to you. I hate implying ownership over people, but
They're not
like,
people.
they're in our world they don't even exist. But if they were, they would be people. However, in the Imperium, they are Xenos trash. Yes, I got you. They work for you now.
They are not people. They are recruit.
Yes, I am aware.
I'm surprised you're willing to work with him.
He's a Lord Captain Rogue Trader. He can.
I know he can. I'm just surprised he wanted to.
He probably didn't want to spend all session fighting. He wanted to get on with the story.
I wanted to protect the merchandise. Whatever.
I mean, you could have just lured them all out in the open, and I could gun them down.
I mean, he could still gun them down if he wanted to right now, theoretically. Be like, here, stand here. We're gonna get you fitted for armor, and then also combat servitor. Go
over the mind link. I am. Everybody's trying to preempt me over there. Over the mind link, I am asking Lucian.
Yes.
What's our most damaged shuttle and a pilot you don't like?
I don't think we have any damaged shuttles right now.
Well, there is literally I'm above the table here. There is literally the regular wear and tear. You would have a shuttle. You're like, oh yeah,
I mean, at this point, you're just picking one.
The aileron keeps going out on this one. We can afford to spare with that one, especially if we're going to be bringing on gun cutters, sir. you'd have
That
an
one
answer
has
like that.
canards. I've never liked it.
Hard line crosser or habitual line crosser, whatever his name is, would like to know
Yes.
your location. I always fuck up his name. HLC would like to know your location. Also
the kid would like to know your location.
Anyway, if you
also
want
the
to
F-35 and Franklin would like to know your location.
if you want to RP a shuttle and a pilot you don't like, now's the time.
Yeah. Well, you know, there is that third-rate pilot. No, literally, that's his rank, pilot, third rate. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy in particular. He will never make second rate.
I guess I name off some pilot that is an asshole and has gotten on my bad side.
He's gotten on your bad side, but not enough to actually be executed at this point, which is almost impressive.
Tell him to come down in the shuttle and pick up these crew for transport back to the ship.
Okay. I get on the Vox thing and transmit the message.
All right. And a short little while later, shuttle comes down, crew load up, shuttle goes away.
When he is in orbit, inescapably close to my ship,
You're gonna blow up the shuttle?
I vox the shuttle, and I ask to speak to whatever. Is he a shaper or is he simply just a crew?
He's a crew, whatever would be higher than a shaper.
Well, a shaper would be the highest crew, like they lead.
Okay, the shaper of shapers then. I get it. I just feel like there'd be more than one shaper.
Well, there are.
There are, but like the shaper is like the elite of the crew. They're like it would be not quite like a planetary governor, but pretty dead gum close. So I'm assuming he's less than a shaper.
Sure, let's call him the shaper plus.
Yeah. So he might have assumed the rank of shaper as the warband needed someone to tell them what was fit to eat and what wasn't.
Right.
Because that's partly what shapers do.
Right.
But I'm going to be asked, whatever his name is, I'm going to ask to speak to him over the Vox.
Yep. Yeah. He takes the Vox. He says, yes.
I'm going to ask him what it was like to kill the people on the relay station.
It was a hunt. More.
Consider your hunt ended, and I'm going to immediately Vox, because I have brook no insult.
Mm-hmm.
And this shuttle is going to get blown up.
Okay. You don't have to roll for it. Your ship tracks it as it approaches and absolutely annihilates it. And 30-odd crew and a couple of shuttle pilots with a bad attitude vanish into the...
Oh no, just one. This ship is understaffed. I specifically requested.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. 30-something crew and one irritable little shit rat of a pirate. Or of a pilot, sorry. And one of your shuttles gets obliterated. So let me go ahead and delete this particular sentence or two out of my notes.
Why'd you bother wasting an acquisition roll on him then?
He wanted to kill somebody.
It sold it. He wouldn't spend on people he was just going to, incinerate, right? Right?
Yeah, but crew aren't smart.
That's...
Yes. If they're a warband that can survive under these conditions, they are actually quite smart.
Smart enough.
They definitely were smart enough. Okay. Well, that solves all of that problem.
Now, I am assuming that the four troublemakers are aware of how I resolved the situation.
They might hear rumors, but they don't know details.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I would specifically arrange it through whatever whispers that they find out what happened to the group.
Sure.
Some sort of ship's log leak.
Oh no.
It turns up.
Oh, more like I would ask the captain or the planetary governor, excuse me, um who amongst his retinue might have looser lips, and basically arrange for conversations to be had within certain people's presence who
Sure.
normally are not, maybe not as freely talked around.
I mean, you can definitely like we don't even have to go into all that. Like we can just be like, yeah, it becomes known shortly, within several hours or
Without
day.
but in a way that's subtler than a public announcement, where they sort of feel like they've found it out for themselves.
Yeah, they've definitely heard the rumors or come across the. Definitely are of the opinion that you absolutely set that up intentionally. Also, I didn't realize that this image had the time scale for moving through the system on it.
It didn't before. That must be
Yeah,
a layering issue.
no, I thought I remember making that timeline chart, whatever, and then deciding I wasn't going to use that because it was a bit more rigid than I liked it. As far as
So you just grabbed the wrong image to put down on the table today?
that or the image I have, I didn't. I saved
It
over it
happens.
and didn't go back to the other one. I don't know. It's fine. It's not that. Regardless, uh,
Took me by surprise, I must say,
yeah. Well, I mean,
when I
I do
found out
weird.
yesterday that I heard it through the grapevine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bum, bum,
Brown,
bum,
brown,
bum.
brown.
Yeah,
That would have been better if it was in sync, but
it would have been, but it wasn't.
we get what we get and we take it and we're happy.
Who thinks Through the Grapevine was by NSYNC?
What?
I was
I
waiting.
prefer the
As soon as
Credence
I said the
version
words
personally.
in sync, I was waiting for somebody to make that reference and be like, "No, that's not what I meant at all."
He said it would be better if it was in sync, and I'm like, no, it wouldn't. Credence
At
Clearwater.
any rate, Lord Captain, my lord, there are 4 representatives of the planetary body of governance that are currently
Well,
on the schedule for meeting with you.
For one thing, if you'll remember, it was its individual meeting, 4 individual meetings.
Yeah, you have 4 individual meetings. That's what they're trying to say.
Okay. Now, where have these been scheduled? At some central location, or have they all invited me? Because I would basically say I'd like to meet with you at your convenience after this situation's been resolved, and they are determining a place. So I'm assuming most of them would like to invite me to their mansions, respectively.
I didn't think about that when I came up with who's meeting with you and what their problem is. So I'm gonna go through each one and then I will determine as we get to them where the meeting will take place or what they would offer meeting venue. The first one
Okay.
is Kalen Vane. They are responsible for the collection of taxes and tithes in the northern quadrants of Workflow, which, to remind those that may have forgotten, Workflow is the name of the city. This individual would probably invite you to their personal dwelling establishment in the northern section of the city. It's probably it's not terribly opulent, but certainly visibly well-to-do financially speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Property befitting someone of their station. There is a small landing pad adjacent to the property with a gardened walkway approach, if that makes any sense.
Let's hope the 4.
But
Go ahead. I was gonna say let's hope the 4 squads of troops don't trample all over the garden.
well, the pathway itself is wide enough for 2 or 3 people to walk across. So you either have a procession of guardsmen, or your guardsmen are walking all through the garden grasses. Like I said, there is a pathway through a garden that connects the landing pad and the property proper, with a few guard posted outside that are mercantile guards, which again, that's the planetary defense guard, whatever the hell.
Yep. Yep.
So it's not like private house guard or whatever. It's the local militia. is the card here.
Okay.
But you are shown in by, I'm gonna say butler. That's probably not quite the right role, but something to that effect. Shows you in to a nicely appointed antechamber, not very large, and in your mind, probably not very well appointed, but some extravagance is visible here.
Yes.
And it is some time before you are seen, but it's not meant to be insulting, the delay. But eventually, Kalen shows up. Typical male of a business political acumen approach, presence, I should say. Dark hair, close cropped, tailored clothing. And as he approaches and enters the room, drops to one knee in front of you and says, "My lord, welcome to my home, and thank you for coming to meet me here."
I lift out my hand to bring him to his feet.
Sure, he'll stand. Assuming you let him.
No, that was I am reaching out my hand to pull him up to his feet.
Oh yes, yeah.
When
yeah.
he takes my hand.
Yeah, he'll take your hand.
Well, I pull him up to his feet. I am not wearing the power fist on that hand.
Sure.
At the moment.
At the moment.
Let's just say that it's hooked to the side of my belt at the moment.
Yeah, it's dangling
on the one hand.
hip.
Vane, what is your title?
My lord, with hold on, I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. By your leave, my lord, I am the master of the northern portions of the city. I am the tax and tithes collector for the northern districts.
He's a Chicago alderman.
I don't know. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know what some of these titles would. He's obviously important enough to be on the board of governance, but I honestly kind of hand jammed some bullshit title. So.
Yes, well.
But yeah,
sorry,
basically,
I was trying to repeat his title and now I've slipped it. Master of the Northern.
Yeah, Master of the Northern Districts for taxes and tithes.
Well, Master of the Northern Districts. At my pronouncements at the group meeting, I sensed some displeasure on your part. It was well masked. I take no offense.
There's a small but noticeable sigh of relief. What otherwise could have been a very poorly ending sentence for him.
I am here to redress any grievances that you might have. Or, should they be too lengthy, we can always get you a ride back to my ship on a shuttle.
There is a faint smirk and a slight nod from Kalen when you say that. And he's, yes, it's such a shame that your weapons batteries mistook that shuttle for an enemy aircraft. At least it solved the troop problem, if nothing else. No, my lord, with respect, my concerns were more of a, how you say, fear of a precedent being set. When the initial conflict began, there was some noticeable amounts of damages to properties in the southeastern part of the city that not only were regrettable, but also one would wish to not repeat if at all possible. My fear was that any further actions to remove the Kroot could have been misconstrued in such a way as to develop a precedent for lackadaisical military presence and action that causes damage, as opposed to what you pulled off, which was frankly a master of military and political genius.
I'd like to think so. I can count on your continued support on this world for the current.
Of course.
And should you have any problems with his ruling in the future, I ask that you spearhead the inquiry to myself. Should you see the matter worthy of my looking into?
Absolutely, my lord. I have no problem with Shrek. In fact, it was just, as I mentioned, I just didn't want the precedent to be established that such willy-nilly, as they say, would be allowed should something like this ever happen here again.
Very
We,
well.
I don't know
You
if
were
you would
saying.
actually use words willy-nilly. Here we are.
No. I pull out my gun and shoot him for such disrespect. No.
I mean, it's only fair at this point. Please, Lord Captain, unless there's other matters you wish to address to, my home is available to you as needed, other than, of course, my personal. That's sure you can understand. I would hope that would be understood.
I'm afraid I have other matters to attend to.
Very well.
I bid you good day.
Very well.
And
I
it,
will have my again, I don't know if I'm using the term, but he's gonna have somebody of some importance to the house lead you out.
I'm going to thank him for his service to my family as I leave.
We serve at your pleasure.
I believe the term is scion.
Sure.
Scions of a noble house.
Scion usually refers to progeny.
Yeah,
Yes.
scion typically means somebody in the house that's a child but not an heir.
Yeah, that could be, that too. Your next appointment, as you probably get some sort of, daily, hourly update from your high facto, some sort of personal.
Mm-hmm.
Caspian Vorlog is a board member that oversees applications, treaties, contracts, and regulation adherence.
Uh-huh.
In other words, as one may have already deduced, he is at the very least connected to the Adeptus Administratum.
Yes.
He will meet you in the Hall of Administration because he rarely leaves this august building.
The one who's not happy about the paperwork.
Well, I mean, until you actually sit with him, I can't tell you what his.
Yes, well, I can already tell you from his title and position that his problem is going to be that I've changed the planetary bylaws that have sat in place for the last however many thousands of years.
When you arrive at the Hall of Administration, which is, of course, directly adjacent to the building, all the other buildings of governance, it is obviously also a very prominent feature of the governance of this place, considering it's, for all intents and purposes, you're not officially a part of the Imperium, but this is absolutely, when that happens, this is where the Administratum is going to be setting up shop.
Mm-hmm.
You are shown
they
into.
They have satellite offices to oversee.
Sure.
Far flung.
I mean, it's certainly not without, not outside the realm of possibility. You are shown to a waiting area that is sparse but impeccably cleaned, shiny floors.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, off in one area, there is a servitor currently buffing the absolute bejesus out of the floor walls.
Yeah.
Doing exactly what the servitor. After a brief wait, Caspian Vorlog approaches, and of course he's escorted by several members of the, let's call it the local equivalent of the Administratum, all white-robed. Jerome Blake himself would be proud, I think. Thank you. I'm glad somebody caught.
One moment, I'm sorry. Lucian, are you still with us?
Did he get up?
I can't tell if he's slouched over or not in the chair. He is slouched over.
Okay. Well,
Insomnia cured.
it looks like that.
Well, now I know it's not only my girlfriend that my voice puts to sleep.
I mean, if I didn't have a wall of notes and TTS in front of me, I might be falling asleep too. But I also wouldn't be listening to you. Stop going. That's a joke.
Why not?
It's a joke, I said.
At least he's still breathing.
At least he's still breathing. We'll do Vorlog, and then we can wrap a little early.
Well, this is going to be strictly my dialogue, and let's just get it out of the way tonight if we can.
Sure, we can do that too. Vorlog appears, escorted by several members of the local version of brought him at the very least, including several scribes and others with clipboards. And he says, "My lord, thank you for meeting with me here. I'll be honest, I dreaded having to go anywhere else away from my place of work in order to meet with you. I appreciate your respect for my necessity to be as close to the work as
Understandable. The cogs of the Imperium must turn.
that they must. Please, you obviously have a reason for visiting. What can I do to improve your stay?"
I do. At the meeting, before the situation was resolved, I sensed on your part a not insignificant amount of displeasure, though you masked it well and I took no offense. And I came to settle any matters that you wish to have settled or answer any, resolve any disputes or frustrations you might feel.
Absolutely. I appreciate your attention to the finer details, and allow me please to express my, let's say, remorse. I can't think of the right word.
Grievances is the word I couldn't think of.
Ah, please allow me to express my remorse for allowing my true emotions to sprinkle through to the surface. Frankly, I was concerned that in this time of conflict, there was no official declaration of war. There was no awarding of war powers. There was no true diligence applied as necessary to prevent collateral damages in the fighting. A lot of this, admittedly, was necessary. The fighting, the containing the invasive threat of the Kroot, and ultimately removing them from the planet, for which I also extend my gratitude, believe that they are no longer a problem. Uh, we, in my office, proper accounting must be held, and responsibilities applied, ownership assumed, and the appropriate paperwork filled out, filed, and collated, etc., and fees addressed. And for every bit of paperwork filed, a certain percentage of that fee is used not specifically for me, but for my office in order to continue our own financial progress. I cannot think of the right word. Basically, what he's insinuating is that the bureaucracy must expand. Jesus Christ, bureaucracy must expand to meet the ever-growing needs of the bureaucracy. Is what he's trying to say without making a joke, because to him it's very serious, very real. And that because the proper paperwork for all of this was not ever truly compiled and filed, is where his concerns lie. Because he gets a small measure
all the
of them.
I's.
Yeah.
Cross
So, like, if
all
you
the
imagine,
T's.
if you remember, like the British, the stamp tax from back before the Revolutionary War and everything, like there's a certain tax that would be applied to the filing of these fees, and a percentage of that tax goes to his pockets, and by his it means his office.
Some tax firms charge you a fee structure based upon which forms you need.
Yes, and that's more or less what he's getting at, is that steps were skipped, which means less money in the coffers for the growing needs of the bureaucracy that must be paid.
I tell him that if it assuages his frustrations with the situation, that he draft up paperwork regarding the official changes to the governance and structure of how a executor is to be removed or impeached. It's not impeached isn't the term you used, but that's essentially what some of them seem to have the power to do, and I didn't want them to be able to do that
such
themselves.
a thing, to remove Shrek or anybody else from that position would have required a 2/3 vote in favor of. I don't think we would have gotten that this time.
Well, I'm not saying no. I'm saying this is above table to you,
Gotcha.
not to. So, I'm not telling him. I'm telling him I want a finalized draft of whatever paperwork to the changes I made in the meeting, where they don't even have the authority to impeach him. they have the authority to suggest he be removed, and that would be forwarded to the
Rogue
The,
Trader.
the Rogue Trader's office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. He. In fact, as you begin speaking, he snaps his fingers at one of his minions, and they start, basically pulling out several sheets of paper, stapling them, slapping them inside a Manila folder. A cover sheet is then affixed to that Manila folder. All sorts of signs and seals and whatnot, but basically, a title is displayed, and then this process repeats like 2 or 3 times amongst that little group, and then you are presented with 3 folders. One, proposed changes regarding. Let me think of how I want to phrase this. Proposed changes regarding the awarding and withdrawing of powers and titles relating to the chief executive governor, whatever the fuck his title is.
Mm-hmm.
There is another one regarding God, Jesus, forms needed for filing for requesting the transmission of information to the Lord Captain or his duly appointed representative in lieu of local planetary governance, or specifically in relation to changing who is in charge of this planet. And then lastly, a list of charges for the collateral damages, the charges that were missed because the paperwork was never filed, for all of the various combat actions that were taking place, both the ones that did take place and the ones that theoretically could have taken place prior to your arrival, i.e. the final assault. And then lastly, an addendum in there totaling all of the charges up in a final dollar amount. Well, let's call it throne gelt. Yeah. Throne gelt amount. And then that is then itemized on how much of that is applied, how much of that is taxed, and how much of that tax actually comes back into the administratum's offices.
Well, I pull out the gelt necessary to pay for the paperwork I asked for, not the other things, and I say, here is the gelt for that. I'm afraid that I do not have any additional resources on me at the moment. However, if you wish, we can send a shuttle down to bring you up to my ship for the remaining charges.
He looks at you and he does that thing that dogs sometimes do when they cock their head to one side. He's like, "Is this shuttle going to meet with a fiery end, my lord?"
Perish the thought.
That word. I will contact your high factotum directly and convey any necessary documentation between the two of us as needed.
I look at the forms. How much space is there in the space for me to sign?
What do you mean?
If it is a standard size for a name, I am going to say these need to be drawn back up. There is not enough space for my proper title.
Oh.
One of the members of his little entourage is a servitor that has, for all intents and purposes, a typewriter. Fastened to a shelf that is then fastened to a chest cavity. And it starts whirring in dot matrix printing style. And a new form is generated within moments that I've already forgotten what I'm generating this form for. Oh, the request for larger signature blocks on standardized forms.
Yes. And I proceed to put all of my titles that I have accumulated into the box as I sign it. They go off into the margins.
Yeah. And meanwhile, and then a new form is generated to an addendum continuance form is generated to supplement the original form so that you have sufficient space for all of your titles without using the margins. So yes, you have to start over. The original piece that you started signing is destroyed. Right there on the spot. Another servitor arrives and eats the paper.
I sign it again.
Yes, and now you have several sheets of paper sufficient to have all of your titles listed without needing to go into the market.
I also add Slayer of Kroot added to my titles.
after your ridiculous amount of time with the local version of the Adeptus Ministratum, your next meeting is with Lyra Blackwood, board member covering the Southern Reaches and tax and tithe collection for the Southern Reaches, that is. So basically, she's the master of the Southern districts for tax and tithe.
Well, howdy there. Wrong Southern districts.
I'm sorry? Wrong Southern district.
Okay.
She will come to you at your place of choosing.
The table is set back up where I negotiated with the crew.
In the airfield?
Yes.
Does it still have meat juice all over it?
I'm assuming that would have been removed. Like, they would have brought the meat out on some type of tray. They wouldn't have just carried it in the hand.
I was being facetious. And she shows up, and of course there's a couple of mercantile guard as befitting her station, but otherwise a number of servants and other hangers-on that arrive with her. And she approaches. She takes a knee. My lord.
I wave her up and gesture to one of the two chairs at the table.
Ah, yes, thank you. And as soon as she sits down, one of her servants opens up some sort of carrying container that has 2 bottles of some sort of wine and several glasses, and there's a cooler of ice so that the wine can be chilled as opposed to...
I believe you mean Amasek?
Yes. Let's go with Amasek. Absolutely.
Okay.
And you can chill it. I couldn't think of what the logo... I almost said rot gut, but I was like, nope, let's not use that word. But yes, Amasek, and she pours... Not Lyra herself, the servant pours 2 glasses and offers one to you, and then offers one to Lyra. And she simply raises her glass and nods to the servant, who then retreats several steps back. And Lyra lifts her glass towards you and says, "My lord."
I pick up the glass and raise it towards hers.
A toast for your dutiful slaying of those vicious crew.
Thank you. At the meeting with the planetary governor, because I don't want to bother to remember the name again.
It's okay, I can't remember it half the time anyway.
The high executor, whatever.
XIC.
Executor in chief.
Huh?
I noticed some not small amount of displeasure. You hit it well, and I take no offense. But I would be...
She makes one of those dismissive hand wave motions. She says, "I wouldn't think twice of it, my lord." Frankly, the costume that I had on that particular... Or not the costume. The dress I had on that day was a bit itchy, and she smirks. Let's just say less than ideal locations.
I am really tempted to shoot her because she's lying to my face.
Yes, she is.
She's also flirting with you.
One of your servants, attachés, etc., leans down and whispers into your ear, Lord Cap. Now, I realize this is a bit outside the normal, and perhaps even Reinhardt's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because I assume Reinhardt is nearby. However, this is also, let's just say, at some point you received an attaché or assistant that is local to this world, that is there to assist you in, cultural exchange of information and things of that nature. And what he says to you is something to the effect of, Ada Blackwood. Well, she's called the fickle vote. Her vote is often most easily influenced simply by whoever she spoke previously, prior to. It's unreliable at best. Does not seem to have any particular platform, any sort of any regular reliability. Most likely, what she's saying is, frankly, and he scoffs when he says that. Frankly, it's probably entirely true. The dress that was bought.
I am now wanting to know if this is someone who has failed upwards. After the meeting, I am going to be devoting some of what little time I have left on the planet to looking at her competency. Should she be in this position? If she's that fickle, is she collecting her taxes well? What
Sure.
sort of reports from her subordinates?
I'll get back to you on that after we do the next guy. if that's all right with
Okay.
you, to represent time being spent.
Right. It would be, but the one other thing that I do is after we've toasted, after I've been told this, and before whatever remaining pleasantries are exchanged before we leave,
Mhm.
I am reaching backwards with holding it probably in 3 fingers and handing the chalice with the amasec unconsumed to Reinhardt.
Mm. Okay.
Glug glug.
That was the intent.
Yeah. So unless there's anything else you want to interact with her on, you
Who
have
says I
one.
don't allow a little drinking on duty?
I'm sorry.
Who says I don't allow a little drinking on duty?
Yes. Your final meeting is with one Sybil Blackheart.
Oh, he sounds like a peach.
Yes. So this is the one that one of your advisors reminds you that of the 4 individuals that were specifically targeted, she is the one that was actually visibly antagonistic. It might be a good word. Maybe it's a little too much. Now, mind you, of course, everybody was doing a really good job at hiding these things, but this one, it was expressed that she was certainly more opposed than the others. Her purview of the city is the downtown region, the area directly adjacent to the primary starport, and for all intents and go ahead.
Where all the lights are bright.
And for all intents and purposes, she is the mayor of that district. Give me just a second. I need purge.
Not on camera.
No, not that kind of. I need to go to my moderator page.
Moderator? Never met her.
No.
Somebody decided to pop in, go off some bullshit about viewers. Anyways, she welcomes you to her. You know how back in the day, temple priests would have their own quarters directly adjacent to or attached to the temple? Perhaps like in a lower level of the temple. She has a similar stretch of property connecting to the primary starport. If you imagine a starport and all of the different if you imagine an airport and the various corridors leading out from where you'd come in and go through security and all that stuff, and then you have the tarmac and airfields, runways, etc. In this sort of same way, this central building with various parts coming out and away from the centerpiece, leading to where the aircraft, or in this case spacecraft, would be, and then tarmac landing pads and things of that nature. And then off to one side, adjacent to the primary structure of the starport, is not necessarily a palatial estate, because obviously it's not going to be nearly as large as Shrek's palatial estate, but, substantially sized property.
Yes.
And she meets with you in her home on a rooftop. I cannot think of what I'm trying to say here.
Veranda?
A veranda? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes. Overlooking the starport. But you note, of course, that there are not necessarily retaining walls that block a lot of the sound, but there are structures that are transparent, almost like force fields, but not really, that do a lot of that sort of, keeping the sound out so that you can have a conversation without yelling.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to.
Not yet.
And she says, as she welcomes you and up to the veranda, actually, you're being led by somebody else. Yes. She obviously takes a knee and all the other appropriate sorts of things and waits for you to bring up your topic of discussion and basically says, "How can I serve you?"
I dispense with the "you hit it well,"
right,
and just say, "You were clearly very displeased by my pronouncements with the executor in chief, and I wish to discuss any grievances or remittances you wish to account for."
Ah, yes. You see me as the opposition.
I see you as. What do I see you as?
Lord Captain. Or excuse me, my lord, I could only imagine what you see. I will say that I do often take the role of the opposition because sometimes, many times, somebody has to. I find it interesting. I don't think she would use the word.
I raise my finger and say subject. That's what I see you as.
I am, at your pleasure, your subject, yes. In my role as a member of the governance board, I find it often necessary that somebody takes the voice of opposition in order to promote discourse amongst the board members to ensure that the plan being discussed is the ideal plan for the situation and not just the first plan discussed. For instance, with the invasion of those hideous Kroot, the initial fighting caused damage. Had we intervened and came up with a plan, more damage could have been wrought on the city, or less damage could have been wrought. But by speaking from a position of opposition, we ensured that a plan was explored more thoroughly than it may have otherwise been. That's where I tend to sit on this.
It is one thing to be the voice of opposition and not be a yes man. It's another to show the level of displeasure that you did. If I feel that you are being dishonest or not candid with me, I am trying to see if there is anything in particular with the current situation that you are currently displeased with or wish to address with your Lord Captain.
Make a scrutiny roll. This will be opposed by a similar roll. On my part, I have to figure out which one that is. Ah, yes.
Scrutiny really the
Okay.
right role for this situation?
I'm sorry?
Scrutiny is more like, do you spot the hidden lock?
I suppose you could try inquiry if that's more interpersonal related.
I felt like this was more like just simply an awareness or a even because there's command, there's commerce, um, number of other things. Like this is a negotiation.
Uh, let me see.
I mean, inquiry maybe.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, inquiry without looking up the skills definition. Let me have something close.
I mean, I would even settle for, since there is no other, basically just a deception check to see if I sense deception in her. Just an opposed deception roll, if that's how you want to make it. I just scrutiny seems
Inquiry.
odd.
Okay. Yeah. So inquiry is more like investigate.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Interaction is. I'm looking at the skills right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one. Like, is there one that's like where you can read? Like in D&D, you would use
The
insight.
scrutiny skill helps assess people or objects in an
Scrutiny
explorer
does help.
Okay, I thought it was just objects. My
The
bad.
character uses it to determine an individual's truthfulness, motives, and generally appraise a personality and temperament.
It is
Yep.
the correct one then.
Yep.
All right.
Opposed test against the target's deceive skill.
Deceive skill? Is that what you said?
Yes.
When trying to perceive falsehoods or deceptions.
Yep. All right, Rev,
Well,
make your roll. This will be opposed.
Yeah, I'll use a +10 on this.
Sure. 8 point it up. That is 20, which is, I don't know what your final total target was.
That's at least 2 degrees of success.
All right, I'm rolling against a 55.
A 46 is what I had.
Okay. And I fucking bombed it. So yeah, she's lying right through her teeth. She is not just opposition for the sake of opposition. It's really, really hard to tell, but she fails to maintain eye contact with you in any way, shape, or form. You can tell from some of the things that she says that in her facial features, gritting of the teeth, a certain strain in the neck and upper back muscles, she is almost vehemently opposed to you, your institution that you represent, or to something bigger than just the governance of this planet. And there is a 5-letter word that starts with C and ends with Aos that may or may not be applied here.
Oh, I was merely thinking a House Hanet sympathizer.
No,
But
no. Goes a little bit further than that. And again, remember, you represent the institution of the Rogue Trader in general and the Imperium in general, and she is vehemently opposed to that, which makes her a heretic.
So, to clarify, do I sense any hint of the malevolence of chaos coming off of her through this scrutiny? Is that what you're saying? Or is that above the table?
You don't see signs of chaos, but you do see signs of she's absolutely opposed.
So I guess here's the next thing. Mind link Winter.
Mm-hmm. You want Winter to make some sort of roll?
I am going to say something to the effect of Winter of, this woman disturbs me. Do you have any feelings about her? Over the mind link.
Mm-hmm. She says there is absolutely a storm of something surface. I can take a deeper look if you like.
What would the roll for that?
I don't know specifically which power that is. I know she can do some deep diving stuff.
Well, yeah, she has. Hold on a second.
I know she's got a couple of different.
Psyniscience is the obvious one.
Yeah, there's Psyniscience.
I'm pretty sure she can actually go in and like read memories and stuff, unless you're not taking.
She has the telepathic, which means she has telepathy, mind's eye. There's something that applies to it specifically. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Lost Alterios.
Mm-mm.
Well, we lost you from the table. I see now that we did lose you from Zoom for a moment because you're in a different spot on this order. And I should just put this on.
All right. Let me double check because I know there's.
Let me see. Let's see. Mind probe, mind scan. Because either of those you can probably get.
I know at some point she used a. Didn't she use a mind probe at one point? I believe so.
Probably.
That's one of her senses.
I mean, the thing is like these powers cost XP. So if you spent XP on the power,
yes, yeah. Well, she already did. It's just I'm trying to make sure that mind probe, because mind probe seems like the most invasive. Let me look at the different.
I mean, given just the range and the prerequisites, well.
But you're telling me that just a basic sign. So let's have Winter just do a basic Psyniscience.
Yeah,
the aura
let's
of
do that.
chaos
Just-
would be palpable to a psyker.
yeah, like it shouldn't be that hard to find.
I don't necessarily want to read her mind. I just want to.
You just want to see if
read
she's
her
on
aura.
if she's anywhere close to like how far gone she is.
Yes.
So yeah, Cynicians would be a good starting point. Then you can just shoot her in the face from there. You know, depending on what she. His mic is it?
It is not.
It does not appear to be, no.
Should one of us call him on Discord to make his headset ring?
I'm just gonna mute him personally.
I feel bad muting anybody.
I'm not
So
a big fan.
on.
You can suck it up. Don't fall asleep.
Yep, I can. Well, I'm not falling asleep.
Not you.
So Cynicians, you'll forgive me. I haven't messed with her character often enough.
No worries.
Her
Cynicians is I believe it's a willpower ability.
Well, she also has a Cynician. There's a
Perception.
Psi rating. Okay, let me.
So Cynicians is a regular skill. It's a perception skill.
Okay.
It is.
So it's going to be perception, and then she's going to be at least trained. She may even have a +10 by this point, if not a +20.
I thought there was some kind of Cynicians bonus. Oh, yeah, she's at +20. So her Cynicians is at least a 73.
That's more than enough. Yeah.
Um,
Roll a fate point in there, and now you're rolling against the 83.
I was going to, if you'll give me a second, I didn't level her up the last few weeks, so I want to see if she could easily afford that, if you don't mind. Would you allow that?
Perception's probably one of her easier traits to level up. I'd take a
Either for, well, I could level up her perception, or I could see if she has another bonus to Cynicians, but I would like to, since I didn't level the character like I should have. But leveling during a session's kind of a bit cheesy, and so I wanted it, but it would be something I would have leveled anyway.
Perception is not the easiest, but it's not the hardest. It's
mid-grade.
Yeah, it's mid. It's 250 for the first one, 500 for the second, 750 for the third.
And I don't believe she has taken any. Let me double check. She did take 2 advances in perception.
So then the third is 750, which, I mean, if she's got a bunch of XP sitting around,
I have not, but she has a lot of XP sitting around.
But that's
because
also +10, so 73 now just became an 83 with just those 2 advances already.
Hold on a second.
I think. Unless you.
Those are psychic techniques there. Astropathic sign. Yeah, I just took Cynicians +20 off of the rank 3 page, and I don't think there's another Cynicians. So we'll just roll it a 73, and I'll sort all this out later. I feel scummy leveling up a character during the session.
No worries. I'll even. You can go ahead and roll against the 83.
She has fate points, so we'll consider that one of her fate points.
Yeah. Would you like to re-roll that just to see what happens?
Yes. That's ridiculous.
There you go. She closes her eye. Well, I mean, her eyes are already kind of up and out and everything anyway. So she goes still for a moment, and maybe you get the feeling in your head of something between static and maybe a flash of lightning or something, but it's not really easy to determine what it is. And she comes back a moment or two later, and she's like, I wouldn't say chaos, but definitely not in the light of the god. She would definitely be in the shadows. Or another way to look at it, chaos is just a turn away or a couple of days away. Like her descending into chaos is either inevitable or it's inevitable. That's really where.
War, children. Yes. It's just a shot away.
There you go. That's yep.
So the question that goes through the mind link is, do you wish to execute a summary judgment, or shall I?
I'm gonna be the smart ass to be like, please, Lord Captain, how would I ever dare take something like that from you?
Well, I'm also trying to create a fun scene because she has a psychic sword.
Is this exactly? Am I thinking
She
Psylocke
has
from
a
the
force
X-Men?
sword.
Yes, she has a force sword, to be specific.
It
Oh, an
is
actual
still a
sword.
physical sword,
Yeah,
but you can
But
imbue
there's
it with the psychic powers, and it becomes essentially a power sword plus.
yes.
Yes. Well, okay. So you've already said Lord Captain. How could I? Stormbolter, eye level, full burst, point blank.
Oh, this is your shoulder-mounted weapon too, isn't it?
No, this is hooked to the bottom of my power fist.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Very succinctly, Sybil Blackheart is no more, and there are screams from all across the her compound until people realize that it was you that did it, and then they all just simply drop to their knees and hope that they're not next.
You should probably go through the whole staff.
Yes. So I am calling both the governor.
Is that what Icarus's recommendation is in his Icarus voice?
Um,
The flesh is weak.
I was gonna
Purged.
say guilty equals all.
Guilty equals all.
Can you salvage what's left of this one?
Not if you hit him at point blank with a stone.
Yeah, I'm still asking.
That's pulpy bits, yo.
I don't know. Icarus? You're not a
Um,
biologist, so I don't know.
Should just throw in fire.
So I will be saying locally, I will be making a shout for her second in command, and on the Vox, I will be getting a hold of the planetary governor's office, and saying that we found corruption and potential heresy within the mayor's office, and that I am appointing essentially whoever might essentially be I know with the governor they call it lieutenant governor, but what do they call there's a term for like an
Deputy mayor,
deputy mayor.
generally.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
I am pro tem appointing the deputy mayor as mayor to be approved at the pleasure of the planetary governor, but I'm also, without alerting anyone else here, appointing or informing the planetary governor that the planetary governor's office and staff and residents need to be thoroughly searched for any signs of corruption, conspiring with Xenos, or other taint toward the Imperium.
So in short, you've just set off a firestorm of activity throughout the country. Shrek absolutely is like, got it, done and done. And we get like a montage moment where Shrek and Vreen have a very personal or very private meeting, just the two of them. We see the blood drain from Vreen's face as he realizes what he's about to have to do, and basically Shrek vets Vreen, vets his guard, and then the guard just go through every bit of government and either vet or kill the entire government structure, for lack of a better word to call it. This is a process that takes several weeks. You may or may not stick around.
I'm not staying for the rest of the purge. Minor figures are not important.
Mhm.
The one with real power has been, or any power has really been dealt with. I
Yeah.
trust I do leave a note on the file that should they ever, that the mayor of a planet does not typically corrupt themselves, and should there be a figure behind the scenes that was influential in the corruption of the governor, I wish to be made aware of their existence,
Sure.
even if they've been eliminated. And that's basically a note on the file, and I'm leaving the planet.
Okay. You do get a follow-up report on Lyra Blackwood, or whatever the fuck her name was.
Blackheart.
Hold on. Scrolled away.
Civil
Blackheart.
Blackheart.
Sybil Blackheart
Right.
was the one that he just blasted and basically
Yar.
purged their entire staff. Lyra Blackwood, the follow-up you get, because you were looking for, like, basically justifying
Oh,
her
right.
continued positioning or whatever. And effectively what you end up getting is it's mostly her lackeys. Like her staff's appointed workers and whatnot to do all the work, and she reaps benefits. She only, like, the words you get are like only in a nominal sort of way is she credited with supervision of these duties being executed, and then she just
So-
simply takes all the credit for it.
My next question to the planetary governor, if I'm finding this out,
Mhm.
is does she wield any actual authority, or is she known as a figurehead and has no real authority?
She has all the same rights and responsibilities that are invested with any member of the board. She's just the most lax in, basically she's the figurehead for, like, I will let my minions do all that shit and I will look good letting.
Mm-hmm. The other addendum then I'm leaving for the planetary governor. By this point, I'm probably already on my way out of the system. This is through a comm.
Mhm.
She's fired. At your discretion, I suggest you appoint whomever you see as her most fit subordinate, the one who appears to actually be responsible, promoted to the position that they deserve for the work that they are doing.
You receive, obviously, messages of confirmation, etc. As basically Shrek is like, as you wish, Lord Captain. Unfortunately, I'm busy with this purge. I'm gonna have to get back to you in, once the purge is complete. In fact, if she disappears during the purge, you'll know why.
Yes, and I basically informed the planetary governor that I hope this secures his future position and leaves him as with both my trust and uncontested amongst his subordinates.
Oh, there is a gleam in his little eye, and Vreen is his right-hand man, that he will absolutely have complete and uncontested rulership of this planet, and the board will then serve at his pleasure, if things go the way he wants. That said, as we cut away from scenes of mercantile guardsmen purging office figures, and the Acheron's ferry and Peril's pulling away from the planet and moving out into deep space towards the edges of the system, we have a moment where the Lord Captain is sitting at his throne of leadership on the bridge, and Winter appears next to you, bridge, and she says, Lord Captain, we should hold here. I think something is coming. And by here, she means here in space. And we end with these potentially ominous words. Take 300 experience points. For
Woot.
Actually, let me double check something. Let me see.
And what does it bring our totals to?
Stand by, because I'm going to give you a different number. I just
Pardon
need to see
me.
what my number
Goodness.
is. All right, so 200 for the section, 50 for defeating the Kroot, 50 for cleaning up the government. It's 300. Go ahead and take another 200 because you have just completed, in shortest record time ever, Segmentum the 5th. We will be beginning Segmentum the 6th at our next session. So 500 experience points.
Okay.
Wow.
So
Darius slept through most of it.
So if I'm not
that's-
mistaken, what does that put us at?
Looking at 15-7.
That sounds about right, because my two peoples that I've been keeping track of are sitting right around.
What does that got you at, Warner? You still you agreeing on the 15-7?
Maybe I've been keeping track of the experience wrong, because I'm seeing 15,950. 15-7 seems reasonable.
Remember I did fall asleep last time, so I don't. I might
that
not
would
have gotten the.
Yeah, I think that one session was 200 or maybe 300. I don't remember now.
Well, I had a brief power outage that reverted me to some old save files. So
Yeah, I'm getting 15,950 total.
I like that number better.
I'm sure you do.
My two NPCs are hovering right around 14, like high, like 14.8 and 15.
If
These numbers are not far off.
Lucian was awake,
He would give you a
we would
slightly
confer
lower
with him.
It's alright. I'm gonna throw it in Discord really quick in the channel for our group. I'm just gonna be like, session was worth 500.
What was that?
Sounds good.
Which section of the Inquisition did we run into before?
Xenos.
Ordo Xenos.
Yeah,
Xenos, damn.
Sabrina and Drymos is Ordos Xenos.
Why do you say that? Why the disappointment?
You could have just asked the Order Hereticus to clean up your planet for you.
I'd rather not.
Look, it's probably going to be a ruin.
You would
But you
get
wouldn't have
a
any chaos.
thorough scrubbing.
Yes.
Oh wow, when you mute somebody, you have to ask to unmute them? His eyes are open, but his head is starting to Nope, there he goes. He's right. Let's wrap this up. Feedback and comments of that nature, starting with Rev.
Looks like he's back.
You must have heard
So
some
you
of
said
that.
we're at 15.
15 plus or minus $1,000, I think, seems reasonable based on what I'm used to. Don't take my word for it because I haven't been keeping track of exactly what I.
15,850 sounds like a number I could live with. Or with
If I was unresponsive, it's because I didn't realize you were talking to me.
Darius, we're actually comparing what are our total XPs because we seem to have gotten on a little disconnect. Yours is what,
Okay.
100 behind ours?
Yes.
So what
And
do you?
mine
We got 500 tonight.
then 5, 6, 7, 8, 15,850
Okay, that's
is
sounds
my
like
total.
Sounds like everybody's on par here. That's good. Rev, what do you got for feedback and outro comments?
I'm glad you let me go ahead with the negotiations. I was a little bit worried you were going to railroad us into combat.
I mean, it got really close, but like I said, you hit the one topic that they would actually negotiate on, which was for future employment. If it had been any other thing, they would have shot at you. That was planned. Nice try. Although I will admit, I did not see the "Hey, come work for me. I'm going to kill you now." I didn't see that. Oh, hold on. I can't hear anything. I nudged my speaker cable. Still can't hear. There we go.
The third time, I guess. I
Yes.
said, "What do you mean, nice try?" That was
I was being facetious, Rev. Come on.
okay.
You got anything else?
No, that was about it. Thanks for actually coming up with the 4 disgruntled members of the council for us to meet with.
I hope you appreciated that. To be clear,
I do. That was not a sarcastic.
I mean like legit, because I tried to give that a little bit of thought as to why these people would have these sorts of responses or whatever, and pegging one, and I said, I think of the 4, 3 were kind of whimsical but definitely not entirely pleased, and then 1 is like, no, that actually was kind of not cool that you did that. So, and I started thinking about it a little bit. I was like, well, you know what, that 1 is definitely going to be
Wants the planet to go to shit.
heretical
for
something.
Reasons.
You know, not they were gonna. I didn't want to go full chaos, but definitely like.
Did we get any update as to what sort of heresy they were dabbling in?
You do. I think after a little bit of time, you would have gotten a note that she has had a history of disgruntlement, for lack of a better thing to call it. Like, it started as somebody has to be the voice of opposition in order to have valid arguments back and forth, and then it just progressed eventually to. It basically, in the 40K sense, too much free thinking ultimately led to her own corruption, and the not so much chaotic sort of way, but definitely not following the light of the Empire.
I was gonna say, it sounds like a stereotypical renegade to me.
Yeah, recidivist is a word that would have been used, which is not a word I know very well.
Like if a Zinch cult was gonna come around and be like, "Have you heard of the Changer of Ways?" She might have gone like, "Ooh, tell me more."
Yeah,
But at the moment, she wasn't.
yeah.
Chaos.
We're still in the heretical side and not quite into the chaos yet. If it had gone longer,
Well, there could have
Chaos
been
would
like
have been.
Xenos heresies or like historical heresy where she's like, there used to not be an emperor back before the dark age of technology. You know that, right?
Yeah, I think this was just more like she got fed up with the system not entirely working her way, and then
So
that
there were
led to
some
her being irritable.
so there were some journal entries about how the emperor was dead and um his light didn't guide anything, and it's just some bitter edgy journal entry type things. I'm assuming like is that
Oh no, I think you would have found some not necessarily journal entries, but definitely moments where she was on record and maybe she went a little bit too far in one speech, and in another speech several weeks later there was another reference that wasn't entirely kosher. That in the moment these things wouldn't have stood out as much, but looking back after the fact of like, oh yeah,
Taking it
she was a
together.
hereticus,
oy
she was a
vey, I
heretical.
killed
Now
her.
we should have seen this all along.
Oy vey, I killed her for not being kosher.
Okay, moving on. You got anything else, Rev?
No, that's it.
All right, Darius, you snoozed. Hopefully your insomnia is soon fixed. Do you have any comments you would like to add, sir?
First off, do you know what happened tonight? I mean that in the nicest way possible and not as a teasing one.
Oh, I'm definitely teasing him a little bit, but certainly from a realistic, like, do you know what happened
I
tonight?
mean, you made it through most of the sesh before. I don't know if I'm.
I think I know what happened tonight.
Okay. Do you have any comments you'd like to add as far as feedback and?
Hey, aren't we going to get a acquisition roll?
If it weren't 9:50 p.m. Pacific time right now, probably we'd do those again. I'll give you guys a chance for acquisition rolls. Head out
Oh,
to
but
space.
we've got unused fate dice. Come on now.
It'll be
this late at
fine.
night.
We're good.
Alterius is about
Aw.
to turn into a damn pumpkin. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
I tried.
That's all I've got.
Okay. Arterio, speaking of pumpkins, what kind of feedback, outro comments do you have?
Don't forget about the gun cutters, guys.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, how do you want to resolve that?
Okay,
How
so
is that?
I will tell
I mean,
you.
we can do it next time, but
Yeah.
like just don't forget about them.
Yeah, don't forget about them. I'll try to remember in my prep notes, but I did skip over it because I forgot about it tonight. There was, at the cessation of hostilities, a couple of gun cutter crews that are looking for new employment opportunities. So just keep that in mind.
Well, how many gun cutter parts did we recover?
One acquisition roll's worth of, but you'll get a bonus because you have a couple of crews looking.
Okay.
I'll sorry, so you got anything else?
I kind of wanted to blow up all the warehouses.
I kind of wanted to too, to be honest with you, but I had to give them an out because, like, realistically, these recruit mercs, right? If you hit them with the one thing they want, they might not fight.
It would have just been funny to just kind of like, well, you guys weren't able to do it, so maybe you should have done something before we got here.
Yeah.
But
I also did like the political angle that we ran towards as well, so that was
that was good.
Anyway,
But it would have been funny.
Sorry to dominate that, guys.
Unfortunately, it is one of those things that sometimes just happens. Can't do a whole lot about it. Unfortunately, like this is like the second or third session in a row that Alterios has had next to no screen time the entire session.
Oh.
Had we had combat, he would have had a little bit of screen time for sure, but I do appreciate that Alterios stuck it out anyways, so.
I do have one thing, it's not exactly feedback, but it can wait till the end.
Alterios, you got anything else, or shall I move on to Warner?
No, go ahead.
Warner, what do you got?
I was gonna say the show did become a little I'll use a Warhammer term, monodominant.
Yeah.
And trying to, as best you can, slip in little vignettes for other members of the party would be appreciated. But overall, it was a good episode.
I did try and almost kind of skip past it.
With the Amasec being handed off?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that particular section, that moment, went right over my head as far as like, okay, didn't see that coming, but all right, he's gonna drink it. Like I've got nothing to support that.
Yeah, that
It was
I
also
understand.
it was also sort of a slight at the
Oh yeah, absolutely.
figure in question.
Yeah, at the bimbo. She wasn't meant to be I couldn't think of it. No, you're right though, Warner. I am trying to incorporate other things for other players, so it's not always Rev and his motley band of.
Alrighty.
I'm certainly trying to keep that in mind.
I appreciate it.
Unfortunately, it's in particular to like Alterios, it's kind of hard because there's not a lot of techie stuff going on. I had a couple of ideas, but
you could throw out some things like a malfunctioning camera or
no, don't just give me filler to give me filler. Do not do that.
No,
hear me out.
It certainly needs to be worthwhile.
Hear me out, just as an example, like in hindsight. So you kind of wanted to portray the last character as being not loyal, whatever. Perhaps some sort of like background signal that Alterios picks up on.
Okay. Yeah.
Or something that gives us another clue that way. I hate to keep relying on Winter, especially as currently a non-player character.
Right.
With Warner, you could have one of their security detail be like a guy who kind of gets in his face to see who's tougher, and maybe there's some sort of little interaction between them.
That's a fair point. Those are actually good ideas that can be incorporated moving forward. I have a couple of big ideas as far as what is happening over the next segmentum or two, and there's a couple of different areas involving NPCs. Wonder how much of that I can expand on the player characters, not as.
Yeah, give other people some stuff.
I certainly want to. I'm certainly trying to come up with things, and I have the overall story. It's just individual vignettes, like Warner called out specifically. Don't forget about
don't forget about the complications that I gave you the opening for.
With like the different gifts or whatever.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna come out and say that, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, fair. That's fair. All right. Any other final comments before Darius falls out of his chair?
My last, it's not a feedback comment, but it is a piece that I should have included with news, but I was too busy with my April Fool's joke.
Yes, the one that never made it to the air?
Yes. I actually did get a medical report back from one of my doctors.
Uh-huh.
And my MRI shows in my feet signs of chronic tearing.
Chronic tearing?
Yes, that was the term that they used regarding my tendons.
Which would explain the levels of pain.
It would explain the occasional that you hear in the background.
It does. It certainly explains that. All right. That's it for us here tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope that you also smash all those buttons, hitting the like and subscribe and sharing and what. Except for that one that points down. Don't hit that one. That one alone.
Why not?
Because it means not good. It's the thumbs down button.
It mean not good, me no understand.
Yeah, well. Stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a crazy, grim, dark world. So make sure you're doing what you got to do. Take care of you and yours. As for me and mine, we are out of here. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Cheers.